hopes you can read my mind. How do you get to know how I feel inside? No one will take your place. I can't erase all we've done. 'Cause we fight in the daylight, overnight we relied. We relied. Hide away from the sunlight. Later on we'll relight.
Did you know that people born from 1945 to 1965 have the highest rates of hepatitis C, but most don't know they're infected? People can live for decades without symptoms, but over time, hepatitis C can cause serious health problems, including liver damage and even liver cancer. If you were born from 1945 to 1965, the CDC recommends that you get a blood test for hepatitis C. So talk to your doctor about getting tested. It could save your life. A message from the CDC.
Hey, this is Ariana Grande.
What's up, everybody? I'm Bozzy. This is Calvin Harris.
This is Camila Cabello.
Hey, I'm Dua Lipa.
Hey guys, I'm Halsey.
Hey, what's up? It's Lau.
Hey everyone.
This is Salada.
It's Selena.
This is Shawn Mendes.
Hey, it's Taylor Swift.
This is Zed.
This is K-Joy.
This is Vincent R.
What's up, guys? Twitch and Scratch. You're listening to Booth 312 on WIIT 88.9 FM Chicago.
And this is Fresh.
No matter who we are or where we come from, we all experience difficulties in life.
Military veterans know that sometimes it takes strength and determination to make it through.
Whether it's physical challenges or struggles on the inside, it takes strength to ask for help when you need it.
Learn how veterans like us have reached out for help and hear stories of strength and recovery at MakeTheConnection.net.
Reaching the World Entertainment presents The Booth. Check us out every Sunday on WIIT 88.9 FM in Chicago, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Download that free app, tune in, and get the best sounds of the underground with The Booth. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode right here, The Booth 312, broadcasting from WIIT 88.9 FM in Chicago and theboothradio.com. Hopefully you guys are doing all right out there. The weather's been up and down here in Chicago. And I'll tell you one thing, even though it's kind of cool here in Chicago, it is getting hot up in here. You know, we're having a lot of issues, but you know what? This happens everywhere, not just here in Chicago, but I'm telling you with the house game, we definitely have some stuff going on where people are constantly talking and, you know, ragging on others. I don't know. I mean, what's new with it? This is nothing new with this game. People are always hating on others. And for what reason? I don't know. I mean, right now, GU, Glenn Underground, is really, really out there spitting some stuff, and we got people firing back and hating on it. We'll be talking about that today, so you guys want to make sure you stay tuned for that. We have, Derek, help me out with James's name again. How he
James Big Daddy House.
I knew the house part.
James Big Daddy House is supposed to come in today talking about his sauce that he has in stores now, you know, that you can rub on your turkey, your chicken. You can rub it on your body and baste it. Yeah, right. You know, he said he got the hot damn and all types, you know. So, you know, hey, you know, and for the freaking you, if you want a real hot woman, just rub it on yourself and put it on her and you got something going, you know. Sausage, hot sausage, you know, in the bun, you know, so there you go. So anyway, yeah, he's got that sauce, and he's bringing a gentleman in that's also talking about his own cologne line. He started his own cologne line, so hopefully these guys will come. I know they're tied up with church, and we're just waiting to see. I've been trying to call it, verify if they're still coming, but if not, we definitely got enough hot topic for Chicago right now in this house music game. So, man, I started a watch party on Facebook, so please share it and send it out to other DJs and connect with everybody that you can. And you know, let's get this thing roaring, as they say. So I'm setting my phone here. So, or I can look at the camera. So those of you who have seen, a lot of my posts, I posted a lot of different things in general today about house music. Not so much house music. I'm gonna retract that. It was not about house music. It was there are all broad statements based on anybody who wanted to answer, whether you're from Chicago, New York, overseas, Miami, Detroit. If you are a DJ and a producer, I asked a lot of different questions. And one of the ones that seems to still keep going, and I thought it was going to die down, and it really hasn't died down, was, talking about, one of the posts I said was, if you were a DJ or a producer, or you were in the music industry, basically, would you help, another DJ or a producer come up? And does it have anything to do, if it was, with talent or skill, or if it's somebody you knew? And basically these are like two different posts in one, but I'm getting my point across. My point is, if you made it today and you were out here and you were doing well, would you help your fellow DJ or producer come up? And then the next question was, what if they weren't good? What if they weren't good, or what if the people weren't recognizing them like they recognize you for whatever reason? And as you as a professional DJ or producer, do you think it has anything to do with your talent or skill, or is it about who you know to make it in the business? Some people said both, some people didn't. And for some reason, it branched off into how people hate, and how people don't want to see other guys coming up. And of course, by me being from Chicago, a lot of people jumped in assuming that it was a post directly about Chicago and Chicago's DJs and artists, which it was not. I was just interested in people's opinion globally and worldwide, from the UK, from South Africa, from wherever you are that's DJing and making music. So of course, Chicago guys, some, have made this kind of personal, because I guess we're from Chicago and they're looking at it from a Chicago perspective. So, and I did another post, of course, about what do you think is better as a producer, selling units of records or selling units of digital sales? Did you make any money? Did you lose any money? It's a debate. I like selling records, and then some people, say, hey, it's no different selling MP3 than digital. And, me and Glenn Underground had got in a debate actually on the way here, in my vehicle, talking about, our different experiences with digital and vinyl sales and the money that is made. And some of it comes down into your work ethic, the work that you put in, the quality of music that you do. And I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are going to have a lot of different opinions on that as well. I see Facebook is still chiming with this debate between Kevin Durkin and Glenn Underground on Facebook, back and forth, and me and Kevin were talking, and he felt it's a whole lot of Chicago DJs out here that are veteran DJs and all of that are not on the same level as, say, one of the people he mentioned was not making the same amount of money as a Bad Boy Bill. And that, of course, triggered a whole nother conversation. But it's many conversations. It's many conversations. You guys can chime in and ask. We can talk about these things and let me know your opinions on them. These are just opinions, and I want everybody to understand nobody's opinions or feelings are wrong. So don't tell somebody their feelings or opinions are wrong. We can go into right and wrong when we're dealing with factual, documented, historical data. That's when you can say, no, you're incorrect. This is where it is. This is how I found it, whatever. But as it pertains to somebody's feelings and their personal experiences, you can't tell them that they're wrong or they're effed up or this or that. that's their experiences, and we have to be adult enough to respect that. And if we can't respect that, I don't want anybody chiming in on this post. I don't want anybody saying anything negative and derogatory to anybody. People experience different things through their finances, their experiences, or the people that they're connected with. So let's just keep that in mind in our responses. We're all grown people, and we're all supposed to be industry professionals. So let's deal with the. I see we're up to 17, and we all of a sudden start dropping people. I guess since I said that you can't cuss nobody out, maybe. But anyway, let's deal with the first question. Let's deal with the first questions. Are there haters amongst the veteran DJs that you guys feel that are veteran DJs that are high in the hierarchy or that you feel that are higher than you in the game that are preventing you from making it in this business? Are they preventing you from making it in this business because they're not sharing their contacts, their booking agents, any of their info to you to help you build your brand or to help you get better? Or do you feel that they even have to do this for you? I mean, what do you guys think? I got two DJs here.
Dave, you go.
I got Dave C in the house, and I got Rupert.
What's that saying? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Okay.
And I think you can give them the tools as far as instructional, like, hey, this is the blueprint that I used. But there comes a certain point where they have to pick it up and run with it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
There was guys that did it before me. I followed their blueprint, and I'm working hard to establish myself. And I don't expect everyone to hand everything to me.
Okay.
I mean, I've made a lot of contacts, you gentlemen included, and of course, you try to utilize the contacts you have, but when it's said and done, it's your career, it's your name, and where you want it to go and how far you want it to go depends on how much work you're willing to put in.
Okay. Rob?
Well, I agree with that statement. I mean, that's the biggest problem is so many people want everything handed to them. And the newer crowd more so than the old schoolers, but it's them too. You can't just put it on the millennials or whatnot, because the old schoolers that hadn't made any progress, most of it's probably just the fact that they didn't work hard enough to get there. And that's usually the biggest problem, is the fact that people do not work hard enough. They want everything handed to them, given to them. And you have to work hard. And, after you work hard, you got to work a little harder.
Well, let's play. I'm going to play devil's advocate here a little bit. I explained it because me and Kevin did have a phone conversation there. I explained to Kevin like this with a lot of DJs, especially. So now if we want to deal in Chicago, let's deal with Chicago. I look at the DJ industry in Chicago like a layer cake. Okay. The first layer of DJs are the pioneers and the creators of the sound and that help get, the sound going. And in the early 80s, and they either had the right connections and or the finances to buy the equipment to do these things. Okay, the second layer of DJs that we run into and producers that we run into are those guys that did not get a chance in the 80s because either they couldn't afford to buy the equipment, they couldn't get into the clubs, they didn't have a connection, or they were just too young to go to these places and you couldn't get hired to, the DJ there. And then in the present, which is the third layer, so we're looking at a triple layer cake, is we have a lot of guys due to the electronic age, as people call it, push button DJs. And as Glenn pointed out, if you hit a CDJ and you push a button, you're a push button DJ. You know what I'm saying? But I think when they used the term push button DJ, what they were getting at was the fact that people are using the sync button and the effects to, mask their blends or whatever they're doing. And a lot of guys didn't understand. And that was one of the debates me and Kevin had about how a lot of guys will get out here and play in the clubs and they will train wreck or play bad and people will still keep supporting them. And I told him, I said, the following of people are going to always follow who they like no matter what, whether you blend good or bad. If you're old school alumni or whatever that is, they typically support who they like. Now, so getting back to my point on the third layer of DJs, we have a bunch of DJs due to the electronic age that you can go out and buy a controller, some basic speakers, and a hard drive, and now become a DJ pretty much under or about $1,500. If you buy a little bit better quality stuff, you might be between 15 to $3,000. If you go higher than that, you could be anywhere between 11 and 30 grand. And in some of that, most of the guys are financing a lot of this if they can't buy it used, get it from the pawn shop or whatever that the case may be. And now they will holler and get mad at a veteran or a club or a venue and because they don't get the opportunity to play or to spin there, or they feel like, well, I didn't get a chance to play in the 80s and I didn't get a chance, but now I'm here. Everybody gonna hear me, and thanks to social media, they know that I can play, and I can play better than a Mike Dunn, or I can play better than anybody on the Chosen Few, and and that's a whole nother subject I got to get into, because somebody did say something very negative and smart aleck about the Chosen Few, which I'm gonna get into in a little while. So yeah, so stay tuned for this comment that I got from the Chosen, about the Chosen Few.
All right, well, stick around right here for more to come. We're going to play some of these tracks for you. All these new hot tracks for you guys coming to you from DaBooth312.com. Stick around right here for more to come, so we're going to get it even hotter in the seats. Right here on DaBooth312, broadcast from WIT 88.9 FM in Chicago, and DaBooth312.com.
Hey, this is Ariana Grande.
What's up, everybody? I'm Bozzy. This is Calvin Harris.
This is Camila Cabello.
Hey, I'm Dua Lipa.
Hey guys, I'm Halsey.
Hey, what's up? It's Loud.
Hey everyone.
This is Selena.
It's Selena.
This is Shawn Mendes.
Hey, it's Taylor Swift.
This is Zed.
This is K-Joy.
This is Vincent R. What's up, guys? Twitch and Scratch. You're listening to DaBooth312 on WIIT 88.9 FM in Chicago.
And this is fresh.
Be my guest, be my guest, be my guest. Okay. All right, guys. So I'm glad you're sticking with us because we got a lot to talk about. So we're keeping our music in between kind of tight. So I was on the third layer of this cake. The third layer of this cake, and the point I'm trying to make is what I'm seeing and what I think, this is my opinion. And you can tell me if I'm wrong, you know, because I'm man enough to take it. But this is what I visualize. This is what I see, in my opinion, is that we have a lot of guys that didn't have a chance in the 80s and in the 90s or whatever the case may be to do and be the DJ that they always dreamed they wanted to be. And through technology now they're able to do this. And now I think some people are acting like they living on the expiration date and you need to hurry up and accept me and book me and put me on and put me in this club. I've seen in the past where DJs have literally protested against clubs because they didn't get a chance to play because they felt like they had a right to play because they felt in their mind that they played very well and there was no reason why they shouldn't be let in the club, you know, which I thought was absolutely ludicrous. You know, I've seen a lot of these same situations when it comes down to DJs that say, oh man, I've been around, I've been spinning for 20 years, I've been spinning for 30 years, I've been spinning for 40 years. But I guess it's that whole thing, if a tree, you know, falls down in the forest and nobody is there to hear it, does it make a sound? Meaning, did anybody know who you were then, and do they really know who you are now? So, and then if you did something in the past, what have you done lately? So it's a lot of different arguments with this, and a lot of guys feel like I should be here or I should be on this level and I should be able to play in this club. And if it wasn't for these old school DJs that's hating on me, or if it wasn't for these promoters that only click off into this clique or click off into this group, then I would have my chance to do this or that. And I think that's part of what causes the hate, the icing on the cake. The whole hate thing is when brother turns against brother and all of that. And then I've heard people say, well, you know, you guys are getting older now, so you should pass the torch down. If I'm still eating, if I'm still making money off of what I do for a career, why should I leave it and stop feeding my family or paying my bills for you to come along and say, here you go, buddy. I don't need to eat anymore. I mean, I know I'm a fat dude, but yeah, I still need to eat. So I don't need to eat anymore. I don't need to pay my bills anymore. I don't need to do anything. Because you're younger than me, you can have it, and I'm going to be happy with that. You know, give me the name of your booking agent. Give me the name of your agencies that hook you up so I can get put on. Now, I'm not saying that there are not guys out there that are not willing to share information. And I'm not saying there are veteran DJs and stuff out there, or people out there that are not, what's the word I'm looking for, that are not willing to share out of fear of you taking something from them. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Knocking them off. Because believe it or not, we have a lot of DJs that have high egos, very high egos, and they feel that they deserve these egos for whatever reason. And they like to be the go-to person. Come kiss my ring, come ask me. And if I feel that you're deemed worthy of this, then I'll mess with you, or I'll put you on, or I'll hook you up. And then there's some DJs that tell you, just like I had to go hustle and grind for mine, you got to go hustle and grind for yours. I'm not going to give you my insider information to help you out, because you're going to have guys that are going to be insecure about their place in the game, and they don't want to lose it. And they may see that you're a talented DJ. They may see that you're a talented producer, and they're not going to be up to give you anything because they don't want to get knocked down. Then you're going to have some of them that feel like, hey, look, I work for mine, you got to work for yours, and I'm sorry. So next caller. So, I mean, what do you guys think about that?
Well, my view on it is
how do you see comments on Watch Party? I don't even know how you do that.
if you look at some of the old school ways, that was the reason why we had crews. We had DJ crews that came together, and people were brought into the crew by other members. And Dave, you're part of a crew still, the cutting crew, and you guys still bring in members into your crew, right?
Yes, we do.
So, what would be a reason why you would select somebody and ask them to come join the cutting crew?
Well, they need to bring a different aspect to the table, something that will strengthen us, as well as just overall being friends. Of course, foremost. You want to be able to get along with this individual, but in order to strengthen any organization, any team, you have to utilize everyone's skills. And where you're weakest, you try to find a member that will strengthen your team, strengthen your business or whatever. Because, that's how you're going to get ahead.
Anybody monitoring YouTube here? Because they say a lot of people saying the stream is better on YouTube, and I don't know if they're commenting on YouTube Live. I want some comments. I want some feedback from people here. Is this the case? But this is how I feel. This is my personal feelings about it. I believe it's a whole bunch of DJs out here that didn't get a chance back in the day, and due to electronics, now you have a chance, and you feel like I should be playing with the upper level DJs, and I got a history. I've literally had friendships. I wouldn't even call them friendship. People that I was, acquaintances with, that literally had gotten mad because people had mentioned me and one of my associates as a veteran, or as veterans in the game, and had talked about it, and and then all of a sudden these guys start turning against us. One of them, which I don't have a problem mentioning, that was going to be a guest on our show, was DJ Flick, which he went and did a rant, about stuff, and dude, don't even know who you are. And then we got Craig, that was another debonair, another guy that we've had on the show, and stuff of this nature. Yeah, so I'm calling out names. We want to go to war. Let's go to war. So at the end of the day, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. And no, I'm not going to look out or help anybody that tries to destroy me purposely or anything like that, or discredit me for whatever reason either. So, we can agree to disagree on that, or whatever the case may be. But at some point, we have to get together, and figure this thing out in Chicago, because everybody is watching Chicago. Glenn said something very profound to me when I was on the way in. And this is not the first time I heard it, so I know he's not lying to me, is when he goes out to tour or whatever, first thing they ask him is, when are you going back home to New York? Not when are you coming back to Chicago? Because New York has so much of their business together. It's not that they don't have the same rivalry we have here. Mm-hmm. Chicago does not take care of business. And this is why friendships fall apart. This is why you can't get the respect that you want to get in venues. This is why you can't get a lot of things, because people are afraid to, when you sign your name on the dotted line, you're committing to an agreement. You're committing to a contract. And a lot of people won't do that. And I told people, when we've had this discussion on the booth before, I said, if you can't go to a club or a venue and they're willing to sign a financial agreement with you, agreeing on the terms of whatever that is probably not a place for you to be, because they don't want to commit to that situation with you, which would mean that you could take them to court, that you could argue with them on a situation because you have it in writing. And there's a lot of guys out here that are so thirsty to play somewhere that they're willing to go into these venues, and they're willing to go sell themselves up to the nearest promoter or whatever they can do without anything in writing. And then when they get screwed, or when things are unfair, then they want to get on Facebook and blame it on everybody in Chicago, blame it on the veterans, you need to blame it on you if you're not handling your paperwork. If you're not handling your business, that's your fault. I'm guilty of not handling my business with my past record deals and all of that and how I got screwed. And I'm upset with the people that I thought I can trust. But at the end of the day, the first person I should have trusted was me. When I signed my deal with Larry Sherman said, if you give me an opportunity to screw you, I will. And that wasn't the word. He used the F word. He said, if you give me an opportunity to screw you, I will. He said, read your contract. But I was excited about my front money and the stuff that I was going to get. And all I cared about was just making the music and, I'm on Track Records. And at that time, that was a big deal. Now looking back on it, I should have handled my business. But the downside then, it was only two major lawyers in Chicago that handle music. And unfortunately, Larry was connected to both of them. So it was kind of like, calling Larry's mom to be an attorney against him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, it was like one of those things. But I think that's a lot of it. Guys are talking about, I didn't get paid. They're talking about digital distribution and I'm not getting paid and all that. And if you're not signing contracts and you're not stating that I need to see my annual reports or whatever that is, or quarterly reports, then that's on you. You just lose out. You know what I'm saying? I've been through that as an artist, and I've been through that as a label owner. I had people call me up, how much money did I get? And then when I show them at the end of the quarter that they only made $6.25, or they only made this, and then they want to accuse you of lying. I said, well, the reports can't lie because this is from the time you signed up to the label to the time you've expired from the label. This is everything, and they just refuse to believe. And they think because your music gets, on TrackSource and Beatport and all these places that they're making all of this money, and is not the case. That is absolutely not the case. They're doing what they can to market and sell the record in hopes that somebody buys it. What I tell people all the time, you'll know if your song is a hit when everywhere you go, you'll hear it like, hey, hey, like Superman. You're going to know you making money. You're going to know you making money. People are going to start hitting you up from overseas and in your inbox saying, hey, even if it's not hot over here, people will hit you up overseas and say, hey, I got your song, it's doing well. Can you come out? Would you do this? Then you'll know you're starting to get some traction. You know what I'm saying? But we don't handle our business. Then you got a lot of guys out here that don't study the craft of DJing. They are in such a hurry to be a DJ that they will get the hard drives, they'll get the music, they'll hit the sync button, they'll learn how to do the edits and all of this stuff, and cue points, because they're in such a hurry that they don't learn the basic skill of learning the simple music structure.
But wait a minute, Derek. Now, let's get into today now. Your comment is absolutely 100% correct for an old school way. But today, it's not about the DJing. We have so many out there that are big name DJs making millions of billions of dollars, cannot put a blend together at all, no matter what, but they put on a great show. And that's what it's all about. Today is more so the show, the actual physical show of what you're seeing, not so much what you're hearing, because you have a DJ who actually knows how to blend, knows how to spin, and knows about the music. Everything you just said, they know how to do it, but they're doing it behind the scenes. And they're getting paid. They don't care. Hey, I'm getting paid. I'm good. But the front man, the front person, male or female, they're the ones who are shining. It's like a Milli Vanilli effect. It was shunned upon before, but now it's actually, it's more welcome today than ever because of the show aspect. Today it's more about the show, the physical show. So that whole statement, I don't see it holding true today like it did yesterday. And back in the day, 100%, I agree with you. Today, it's not that anymore. Bringing it to a new level. We just were part of White Elephant Xmas DJ event, and the first event, the Northside event, was all vinyl. Now, back in the day, the nostalgia, everyone that wants to hear the hisses, the pops, we talked about this on the radio before. I mean, the feel of it, the sound of it, the analog feeling, it is great. But you know what? Realistically, today, no one cares about that. Nope. You could have been every guy that was up there scratching and doing all these tricks and playing all this vinyl and killing themselves, putting all this new vinyl up, back and forth. They could have been sitting there with an iPod just playing it, and people don't care. You put on a show, they want to see a show. The music you're playing doesn't seem to matter as much anymore. So that statement holds true to yesterday. I don't see it holding true today, man.
Well, like I said before, man, I agree with you, because I mentioned that in the conversation when I was talking to Kevin Durkin, was that the whole thing now is a show. You have all of these different record labels and stuff creating their own stars and getting them out there to help sell music and brand. Because why? Because they knew part of it, and I'm not saying this is the total reason, but I believe part of it is Chicago was an untamable horse. When we had everybody here up and down Michigan Avenue and Wabash helping us to get things going, and off of Wacker and all these places, that were helping us to build when DJ International was hot, Tommy Boy, Rockin' House, Tracks, when we were Boomtown, nobody worked well together, because we had that aha moment that, we can make money at this. And then it went from, friendly to very competitive. And nobody was able to seem to get along with this crew or that crew. You had Bad Boys, you had Park Avenue, you had Gucci, you had all these different promotional companies, and people were tearing down people's flyers and posters, and we had the poster wars, and then we had the disputes between the DJs, the Farley battle against the Steve Silk Hurley battle, and the Frankie versus Ronnie, and they never hated each other. People always thought that Frankie and Ronnie hated each other. They didn't hate each other, bro.
It was the people around them that started that.
It was the people that made a choice. Some people said, hey, I want to go listen to Ronnie. And then, and some people say, hey, I like how Frankie does his vibe versus Ronnie. Some people say, well, I didn't like the crowd that Ronnie's had, because Ronnie's crowd was too ghetto or too this or too that. And, I'll go with Frankie, and Frankie plays this. And, and some people kind of more into that New Yorkie vibe of what Frankie brought to the table, and it was just really a matter of taste and opinion. And everybody thought that they hated each other. And I'm like, no, it was the people. It was the people causing the beefs. And most of the time, nowadays, today, it's the DJs and the wannabe. And this, I'm just being honest, I feel it's the wannabe DJs and need my coffee. It's the wannabe DJs and the wannabe producers that are so desperate to get on top now, that are always striking the match to start the fire in the kerosene. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it makes everybody angry, and it makes everybody a little bitter, and then it brings up things that people don't want to do. And then people will comment on things and don't know the history of these things. And I can understand that too, because unfortunately, we can't even come to an agreement in Chicago on the history.
Yeah.
How can we win if we can't even come to an agreement in Chicago with some of the veterans that are still here and alive on the history of where it started and how it started? We just had a debate about disco and house music. Well, what is the difference? They keep calling disco house music. No, it's not. It was disco. And I was the first to admit it, at least from my side, was when I was creating house music, it was tracky and slightly soulful. But where did I get it from? I listened to disco music. A lot of guys bit and took samples from disco music in order to make house music. You understand what I'm saying? So now it comes to the debate, well, was house music tracky, or was it, soulful R&B disco-y? So, it's always a debate. We have to come together and determine what our history is. A person that does not know their history does not have an identity. And if you don't have an identity, nobody knows what to classify you as or what to follow you. And this is what's happening when the Glenn Underground has to go overseas and they're asking him, oh, when are you going back home to New York? We've lost part of our identity. I'm not saying we've lost all of it, because I know some butt's going to get on here. Oh, Smoke, we didn't lose our identity in Chicago. Chicago's still doing what it's doing. Yes, I know that. Shut up. What I'm saying is,
nobody else knows about it. We're still doing it, but who knows about it? Like you said, going back to the DJ themselves, right?
Right.
I mean, if you're doing all this great stuff and no one knows about it, well, then no one knows you're doing any of this great stuff. It doesn't even happen. So if Chicago doesn't know about it and they're talking about everyone else, then you know what? It never even happened. So
do you all agree that, and I got to ask, being out here on the circuit, is it a whole, do you run in, and you don't have to name names, I'm bold enough to do it, but I mean, do you run into guys that are wannabe DJs that claim that they were back in the day doing whatever it is that they claimed that they were doing, and demanding that they be put on, or and they feel that they should be recognized? Are you running into what I consider to be a cancer in Chicago? It's eating away at us. It's just an erosion, of what we've created, because it's so many bitter guys out here. I mean, what do you guys think?
All right. Well, me personally, I don't. I guess I don't associate with a lot of them because I don't have those issues. The people that I've come around that may have done it years ago were bold enough or man enough to say, yeah, I did do it, but I never did do it, made it this far, this and that. They don't sit there and say, I deserve. So maybe that's just because I don't associate myself with those type of people. But I don't see it personally. Do I hear about it? Oh, yes, all the time. But I don't actually see it. Dave, what about you?
Well, I run into a lot of cats that...
No, we know Dave, though. Say it again. Cats. Cats. Meow. Yeah.
But no, there are a lot of guys, like Derek said, that they may have got on community flyers back in the day, sock hops, small little venues, and then now, this day and age, they think that it's their time. I was in the scene back in '85, so it's my time. Yeah, you were in the scene, but you were doing it in your basement.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't paid the dues. And like Derek was saying, how do you know where you're going if you don't know where you've been?
Mm-hmm.
So you should, anyone that's really serious about house music and what we do professionally needs to learn. I need to learn. I don't know the complete history, like Derek was saying. A lot of people don't, because it hasn't been carved in stone yet.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, it would be great for these guys to sit down, come to the table, and make a blueprint of the history of house music.
And we are. And we're going to talk about that as well. I know, Rob, we got a few commercials to play. But, man, guys, stay with us. Two things we're going to continue to talk about is this erosion of hating DJs and why they're hating. And I want to know opinions on that. If you guys even want to inbox me in my inbox, or you want to text me if you got my number, do that because I know because whatever reason I can't see your comments on our stream. But I want to know what these things are about. And, of course, I want to talk about some of the derogatory, well, I wouldn't say derogatory, but a derogatory statement that was made about the chosen few. And it's been made by a lot of DJs and people that, I want to definitely talk about the chosen few here in Chicago and their annual picnic. So let's, so stay tuned. We're going to hit the commercial. Maybe play a track. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Ariana Grande.
What's up, everybody? I'm Bozzy. This is Calvin Harris.
This is Camila Cabello.
Hey, I'm Dua Lipa.
Hey guys, I'm Halsey.
Hey, what's up? It's Loud.
Hey everyone.
This is Salada.
It's Selena.
This is Shawn Mendes.
Hey, it's Taylor Swift.
This is Zed.
This is K-Joy.
This is Vincent R. What's up, guys? Twitch and Scratch. You're listening to Booth 312 on WIIT 88.9 FM Chicago.
And this is fresh.
Move your feet like this. Move your feet like this. Move your feet like this. Move your feet like this.
There it is. Yeah, I see the light now. Yeah. So we were in a heavy debate, man. Start sharing. Come on back. Come on back. I know people are here for the debate, not the music. I mean, what
They
can
want
we
the
say?
drama, I know.
Yeah. No.
We need one and the other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Equal
so
dose.
so you know, let's go back to what we were dealing with before. So the other issue is, because I know I had mentioned the chosen few and all that, and we're going to get into, you know, some things about, you know, the chosen few and some of the opinions that I'm hearing other DJs have, and, you know, and even mentioning, you know, I want to get in. I mean, yeah, I just will bring it to the mat, huh? You know, I'm trying, you know, I guess it gets to a point where you say, well, do I stay politically correct with this, or do you just go right in for the juggler? I mean,
I just go right in.
Yeah, you know, I mean,
politically correct is not politically correct.
I gotta ask, you know, I gotta ask because I guess because I'm at that space where I'm just kind of fed up with everything and everybody with the whole situation as it pertains to music here, and I'm just trying to figure out the best. I want to. So I'm just trying to figure out. Okay, all right. So let's go this way. Let's go this way. So, okay, we're gonna get to the chosen few thing because I definitely want to get to that. So let's go back to the bitter DJs and the wannabe producers and stuff like that. Okay, I've heard a lot of music that guys have put out that maybe should not have been put out. You know what I'm saying? And then I've heard, you know, other DJs and producers comment on other people's music in a negative fashion or derogatory fashion. But I tell them like this, and this is what I was trying to explain also when I was speaking with Kevin earlier on the phone, is most times the average fan, we're not talking about a DJ, we're not talking about a producer, we're not talking about a recording, mix of sound, or mastering engineer. The average fan typically does not recognize the mistakes that are made in music. If it's counted off wrong, if the breaks came in at the wrong time, if it's the sound quality is off, they don't really notice that. If they like the song, they just listen to the daggone song, right? You know, and the point I'm trying to make is we as professionals are critical of each other. It's not the fans. I couldn't, one of the reasons why I stopped going to a lot of parties and events that I was invited to just to come support was because I know as sure as the sky is blue, you know, that somebody is going to come sit next to me being a DJ or producer, and they're going to say to me, "Did you hear that bad blend? Did you hear that train wreck smoke? I can't believe that." Then I turn around and I look at the dance floor and there are people still dancing. I said, well, obviously it doesn't bother them, so why is it bothering you? If the people are still dancing, why are you pissed off about it? Oh man, they just whack. I said, are you spinning here tonight? No. I said, aha.
Bingo.
You're not spinning here tonight. So because you're not spinning here tonight, you have a problem. Or maybe you have a problem with that particular DJ. Then the other thing that totally pisses me off that I hear a lot is when another DJ will come say, so-and-so can't play. And I say, well, why do you say that? Because I've listened to him or her and they pretty much had decent or flawless blends through the whole set. They playing that whack music. I said, so because you don't like their genre of music that they're playing today makes them a bad DJ. So it has nothing to do with skill now. Now it has something to do with your personal taste, where you feel that determines that another DJ is bad or good. Because you don't like tribal, or you don't like soulful, or you don't like underground, or you don't like disco, or you don't like the old BMX Hot Mix 5 freestyle music, which what a lot of guys call, that's that Latino music. I don't get into that freestyle scratch crap. And then I said, well, did you come up in the Hot Mix 5 era? Yes, I did. Did you listen to them on the radio? Yes, I did. What made you become a DJ? Listening to the Hot Mix 5. What the hell? I'm like, okay, so we can agree that the Hot Mix 5, despite opinions, influenced a nation of DJs.
Amen.
They influenced me.
Yeah.
Before I knew a Ron Hardy, before I met him in person, before I met a Frankie, before I hung with a Mike Dunn or a Ferris Thomas or a Manuel Pippin or a Gene Hunt.
Yep.
I was listening to the Hot Mix 5. I wouldn't even known about house music or the mixes if it was not for the Hot Mix 5. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that at some point we came to a divide where people were saying, oh, that's commercial music, or that's, that's that radio house, and I don't get in the radio house. It was always, now it's this thing where some of us felt we were better than other ones because, we went to the warehouse or the playground or the music box or whatever this is. Oh, this is real house music. This is how you really get down. But at the same time, you were sitting up there trying to practice, especially if you were a 1200 DJ, you were sitting up there trying to practice triples and quads that Mickey did, or that Scott Seals did, or that Farley did, or somebody like that. You were scratching off records to slam them in and stuff like that. You may not have been a freestyle scratcher, but some guys were scratching in records. Some guys were scratching out records. Some guys were back spinning out records.
Hey, I still get paid for doing that.
There you go. You know what I'm saying?
That's my bread and butter.
There it is. You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling everybody this. There is a market for everything. There's a market for everything. And you got to be careful who you bash and who you tear down, and whose music is whack, and who's a whack DJ, and who's this or that. And I'm starting to understand more and more it's just personal opinions about how you feel about somebody, or that you are jealous because they're somewhere that you're not, or you're upset because a promoter only deals with a certain group of DJs and they don't deal with you. So if they don't deal with you, I'm going to protest the promoter and the venue. And like I said earlier in the conversation, those of you all that are joining us, I mean, I've had DJs, some of them that I believe are on this timeline now, that have literally tried to protest venues because they didn't get a chance to play. And I'm like, whoa, that's like if I'm having a party at my house every Saturday, and I have my regular group of guys and my regular loyal people that always come to my house and support remember the purple light bulb party. So let's use a purple light bulb.
Black lights, black light events.
Yeah. And you have those parties in your basement, and then all of a sudden my parties get real popular and they're hot. And then, maybe a DJ or two come on, hey, Derek, can I play? Well, I really don't have any room for you now. And it may not be personal. It may not be personal at all. It just may be that I really don't have the room for you, or we're doing pretty well with the guys that we have, so we rather keep that flow.
There you go.
Maybe their style of DJing doesn't fit that particular party.
Correct. Your style of DJing may not fit that part. So all of a sudden now you're gonna go tell everybody, don't go to Derek's party. don't support his events because he won't let me play. He won't let me introduce my music to his party. I built my party off a certain sound and a certain group of DJs. I created a certain type of atmosphere that everybody's comfortable with. My fan base or the people that patron me are willing to come to because they are comfortable in that space. They feel safe. They like the music. They like the hospitality. It's not drawing anything negative to them. Why would I change that to accommodate you? One person. You know what I'm saying? And
who could screw it all up real quick? Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So
at some point, we got to look at things, from that level. Then the next argument I put up was, would you, as DJs and producers, what do you call support as it pertains to somebody else's tracks or something like that? So
all right, let's leave them with that, and we're going to go into commercial real quick.
Okay, we got to go to commercial. We'll be
start
right
thinking
back.
about it. I want to start seeing your comments generating on all of our feeds. So if you're watching off of our live feeds on any of our social media sites, or you're watching on our watch party events, please comment on that. Derek wants to know again. Derek, give them those questions again real quick.
Okay. One, we're getting ready to get into, if you're a DJ or a producer, and or you're a touring DJ and somebody gives you their music to play, would you play it or would you not play it because you have a beef with them or because of whatever reason? And do you feel that as a DJ or a producer, should everybody just buy and support your music in the area that you live in because you live in Chicago?
All right, so start generating those answers. We're going to respond some of those and let you guys know what other people are saying. So let us know what you think. Stick around right here for more to come on DaBooth312, broadcasting from WIT 88.9 FM in Chicago and DaBoothRadio.com.
We're all part of your community.
We all play a role in keeping our community safe.
So protect your every day.
If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
Hey, this is Ariana Grande.
What's up, everybody? I'm Bozzy. This is Calvin Harris.
This is Camila Cabello.
Hey, I'm Dua Lipa.
Hey guys, I'm Halsey.
Hey, what's up? It's Lau.
Hey everyone.
This is Salade.
It's Selena.
This is Shawn Mendes.
Hey, it's Taylor Swift.
This is Zed.
This is K-Joy.
This is Vincent R. What's up, guys? Twitch and Scratch. You're listening to Booth 312 on WIIT 88.9 FM Chicago.
And this is fresh.
Hi, I'm Judith Light, and I'm here for my flu shot. Did you know there's an option for people 65 and older? Flu season is here, and people 65 and older need to ask about the vaccine made specifically for our age. Flu vaccination is especially important for people with chronic conditions like diabetes and heart disease, which can worsen with the flu. Visit the National Council on Aging at ncoa.org/flu to learn more and talk to your doctor about vaccine options for people 65 and older.
Reaching the World Entertainment presents The Booth. Check us out every Sunday on WIIT 88.9 FM in Chicago, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Download that free app, tune in, and get the best sounds of the underground with The Booth.
Okay, we're back. So getting back into the whole conversation about everything, man, please, like, subscribe. If you're watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe. That would be a great thing for you to do because we try and bring you the best in house music in Chicago. Not saying that there are no other stations out here that are trying to make an effort to do that, but yeah, we're just the best, and we've been doing it for a while. And I know, and I have to say this to people too, so I got to get this off my chest. Stop being dicks about stuff, man, when it comes to music. We are a cross-genre house music station. We play tech house, we play acid, we play freestyle, we play drum bass, we play underground, we play tribal, and we have all types of different DJs that have different tastes and flares in music from Chicago. There's not too many people out here that are doing that for Chicago artists and DJs. And it would make sense to me that you would support us just on that level because you may be that next DJ or producer that wants to be on the show. to promote your music or your DJ skills or your next event or your product line or whatever that is.
Well, support is very essential, and that's one thing that we need to show more of and see more of here in Chicago. Dave, you said you had a comment on yours for these questions. What do you got?
Yeah, Magic Mike, DJ Magic Mike commented, I feel that it's not about being the best, but who's more hungry for DJ success?
Yeah, Derek, what do you say?
Who's more hungry for DJ success? I think that depends on the individual.
Yeah, I agree.
If you're in the jungle and you're hungry, your skill level or whatever that you bring out of you to find you something to eat is what's going to define your survival. So if you're not out there hunting for your food and trying to figure out how to survive, then obviously you're not that hungry.
But you know, let me throw a side note on that. Just to add to that, I don't know if Magic Mike, if this was kind of what you're leading to, but you know, Derek, you and I are out there in the same jungle, and we're fighting to live, and we're both trying to survive. Do you kill me so you can take most of the food, or would we work together so we can collect food together easily? You know, and that's the thing. Do we step on the next person, or do we help uplift the next person beside us, which may in return, and again, I say may in return uplift me and help me because I helped you get up further. Now you can help me.
That is such a beautiful fantasy. And, and I will say this, it is, and I am, you know, with the Alliance Festival and all that, I created that to help showcase a lot of other DJs and DJs
people are still complaining that they're not on it.
And people still complain about that because they're not on it. They didn't get a chance. And it's only so many guys we can get in every year. You know,
and you know what?
Then they won't even fill out the damn paperwork.
Again, they want everything handed to them.
They won't fill out the paperwork to go. Or I'm gonna just call Derek and see if I can get put on. That's not how this works.
I want to make a statement about that. 2 years ago, I tuned into this show. I reached out to Derek privately, and him not knowing me from anyone, he gave me all the information I needed to be on the show, and welcomed me to the show, put me on twice on the show, met you, Rob, and we all made a connection, called me out of the blue for his first Alliance Fest and asked me if I wanted to be a part of it. I mean, he practices what he preaches. So, I mean, thank you, Derek. Thank you. You do. I mean, look, now I'm sitting across from him.
You're sitting right next to me.
Okay, I guess we gotta say we gotta keep Dave on for another season now.
We'll keep Dave on for another season. All right, he did his schmooze for the day. All right, Dave. All right.
No, but I mean, you do. You practice what you preach.
And I do, and I'm not afraid to back it up.
All right, so we have another comment here. So Patrick Wayne Shea says,
Patrick who?
Patrick Wayne Shea.
Okay.
He says, you know, if a person gives him music to play, he needs to listen to it first, and then he has to see if it fits in with what he plays. So he's looking to see if the sound quality is good and what the vibe is, you know, if it matters. So, okay, so Patrick Wayne, you know, so it sounds like, yeah, you're willing to at least listen to the music that someone gives you, and if it works for you, great, and if it doesn't, then you just can't play it. I can understand that, you know, Derek. I don't know what you feel on that too, because
we talked about that today too earlier. Damn, I went through a lot of conversations today, and this is the honest to God truth with one or two people. So the music quality, like I said before, I've gotten music that I knew from a professional ear, it might not have been mastered correctly. I've counted it out a few times in mixes and saw that it didn't drop when it was supposed to, or the break was too early, or the change was too early or too late. And some people, you know, so that also comes down to you listening to your music before you play it and learning it. And sometimes we're not always in that situation. You know, we get some new stuff, and because we're in the digital age, we throw it on there, we like it, we know we like the tune. And a lot of times people, I've known people that have never listened to a lot of the songs they have purchased all the way to the end. They may have listened to the music to the first break or the first change, and that's it. And they never knew that it was other parts in the song, you know? And so I've sat back and, you know, I've sent my music, through programs to make them sound a little cleaner, a little harder, a little fresher, a little brighter. And I was just telling, Kevin Durkin today, I said, man, that's exhausting. So if I buy and download 100 tracks and 35 of them, I got to spend 40 minutes a piece on trying to clean them up, I just as well be getting paid for it. So now I just say, forget it. I'm going to play it the way they gave it to me, and I'll work it out on the mixer. You know what I'm saying? And I'll try and remember and hope that I remember that this break or this change is going to be later, and it's not going to be in the traditional format that we're used to in music. And there's a lot of DJs out here that are DJing that don't understand how music is formatted and how it's put together, because they don't have to. Technology does it. I mean, we're getting to the point now where people are getting ready to get cars that really drive themselves, and you don't even have to think about that anymore. Technology is a blessing and it's a curse. It's about to put a lot of people out of work, a lot of jobs. They're already showing the machines that are going to replace people at Amazon. You Amazon workers, you people working for Amazon, heads up. They're building machines to replace you.
Well, look, they already got them for McDonald's.
Yeah, McDonald's.
Machine, you place your
even
orders.
Pizza places now have machines making pizza. People are going to lose their job. They think the crime rate is bad now. But let's get back on topic. So that's one thing. You know what I'm saying? Then we have DJs, and I'm going to call out names. And these are my boys. I don't want anybody to think that I hate or are mad at anybody. That's not what I'm saying. But, I mean, we all see this on Facebook. So let's look at a Corky Trackman. Corky Trackman Strong. Corky is a talented DJ, and I believe Corky is a talented producer. I have played and mixed in, some of Corky's music into my mixes. There are other DJs out here that traditionally are not in tune with Corky's music. They say either it's too fast, they're not into the footwork stuff, they're not into this, and they're not into that. Then you will have Corky come on Facebook and he'll rant and talk about how, this is not happening and that's not happening. And I've had, me and a lot of other DJs have had numerous conversations with Corky saying, hey, brother, it's a situation where you have to market your music to the people that are willing to listen to it and that are supporting you, bro. Stay, as Glenn said early on the phone, whatever you produce, however you DJ, stay in your lane. And you will be successful if you stay in your lane.
And it's not a derogatory, in fact, to say, well, you can't do this or can't do that, but, don't complain that you're not, doing as well, because people don't know what to, I hate to say the term label you, but know you for, what style. So staying in your lane isn't saying, well, hey, you can't come and do this. Well, if this is what you do, what I'm doing, then great. But if you're known for something else, why, deviate from that? Right? So, I mean, some people can take that in the wrong context, and I'm sure a lot of people will. When you say stay in your lane, right away, it's a negative.
But I'm going to say this in Corky's defense. I'm not saying, and we all know, all three of us know that footwork music is popular. Drum bass music is popular. It may not be the Southeast side flavor of music, but it is popular. Obviously, there's a demand for it because Corky gets to travel and tour these music. And I think part of it is he just wants to grow that here, and he wants some kind of status recognition and, as to who he is and recognize. I'm Corky Trackman Strong. I'm from Chicago. I helped found this, I helped found that, and, show me some respect. On the same instance, we have the same thing with Maurice Davis, Titan Davis, which is a very talented DJ. He's a good, editing DJ, and I've played tons of Titan's music. He's like a little brother to me. I've known Titan. Oh my God, I'm about to give away. Okay, next February I'll be 50-something, 54. coming up on the double nickels, God willing. So I'll be 54, and I've known Titan at least, 30 of those years. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And it breaks my heart when I see these two guys going at it, because they together, I think they would be a dynamo. You know what I'm saying? And things of that nature. But, it's just, on the flip side, I understand everybody's saying, well, we like Corky, but Corky just won't be quiet. And, if he could just, take some of his own advice and just be quiet, produce your music, play and tour, we may ask you to come play more. We may ask you to get involved with more stuff. But every time we think that you quiet on something, you start up on something else. And this is what you hear throughout the community. This is not just what I'm saying. This is what we hear throughout the community. It's no secret, and people on Facebook know that this is true. And if anybody on here say it ain't true, you're a lie. I'm calling it what it is today. You're a liar. And those of you all who cannot admit that there's some haterism in this, there's some cliquish things in this, and there's some deliberate sabotage in Chicago with some of these things. Not all, because of course, if I'm, and I'm using this as a general statement, I being anybody that is successful in house music, you're touring, you're making your money, you're getting your Grammy nominations, you're getting this and you're doing that. Of course you're going to say there's no problem. Why would you say there's a problem? And you're going to also be the first one to say, well, yeah, I don't know what all the beef's about. And it's simply all we got to do is this. And it's simply all we got to do is that. But if this inferno has not burned itself out or died down, there's still things burning and simmering that are unsolved, unsubbed. You know what I'm saying? We got to solve these things. And if that means we got to separate ourselves from the ratchet, irritating, bitter, wannabe DJ producers that feel like they have a right to everything on God's earth, as it pertains to music and money, that's one thing. If it's a thing where we have to start standing up and really looking at the quality of DJs and stuff that we have here and start calling them out, they're DJs. Now, here's where the thin line comes in. This is very touchy. I don't want nobody coming to smoke, tearing his head off, because then I got to pull out my Gatling gun. So, but I got to say this. We, as in, I'm talking about just globally. When I say we, I'm meaning globally. It's floods of DJs and producers. And there are within that flood, there are small floods of talented, gifted DJs and producers that never get recognized or get the recognition they deserve, because you are a mere pond in the Atlantic Ocean. So sometimes you catch a break and somebody will see that and grab you. Sometimes you'll be in the right place at the right time and somebody will recognize you. But you cannot keep taking it out on people that have already made it or are making it, and making it their responsibility to put money in your pocket. That's how I feel.
I agree with you.
I mean, if I'm wrong, you tell me I'm wrong. That's where all men here.
I will.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying, again, that they're not shady people out here that aren't doing shady things, to keep people down. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that. But to bogart your way into clubs, to bogart your way into people's picnics and festivals and all of this, and then when they don't, you trash talk them and you talk about them and all of this kind of stuff. just for we battle so much about what happens in Chicago on social media to the point, the fans get a little disheartened. People see the division in Chicago because this pot keeps getting stirred up and stirred up and stirred up. And when I made the post, and I made a variety of posts, I made them from a professional perspective. I didn't name Chicago. I didn't name New York. I didn't name any particular DJs. I just wanted a global response from different DJs and producers as to their thoughts as to how it pertains to them and their country and their environment and what was going on. And of course, it hit a thorn in Chicago DJs.
Well, one of them that's a really big subject on that we can get into when we come back is going to be the chosen few. So they're always being talked about. So we're going to be talking about them.
Talk about the chosen
Stick
few
around
thing.
right here for more to come. When we come back, we're going to be talking about the chosen few and the comments going on with them. So stick around right here on DaBooth 312, broadcasting from WIT 88.9 FM in Chicago and DaBoothRadio.com.
Hey, this is Ariana Grande.
What's up, everybody? I'm Bozzy. This is Calvin Harris.
This is Camila Cabello.
Hey, I'm Dua Lipa.
Hey guys, I'm Halsey.
Hey, what's up? It's Loud.
Hey everyone.
This is Salada.
It's Selena.
This is Shawn Mendes.
Hey, it's Taylor Swift.
This is Zed.
This is K-Joy.
This is Vincent R. What's up, guys? Twitch and Scratch. You're listening to Booth 312 on WIIT 88.9 FM in Chicago.
And this is fresh.
Okay, we're back. You gotta wait till I drink my water.
You know, with all that talking, I'm sure you need it. You stay hydrated. All right, let's get to know about the chosen few. What's going on, man?
All right, so before we get into that, don't forget we got DJ James Jenkins, Big Daddy House, coming down with his buddy, and they're gonna talk about, James is gonna talk about that sauce at 4 o'clock. They should be here. And a young brother, for you guys, you know, these are young entrepreneurs, man, that have their stuff out on the market. James has his sauce out in a few stores and all that, Big Mama's sauce and all of that. So I know you guys know him. And he also does a thing called Love Fest. And, you know, we're going to be talking about that as well around the 4 o'clock hour. So moving into the chosen few thing. I really didn't finish my last thing, but we got to go into the chosen few thing. So here's the thing. And if you guys want to share this to Wayne, Mike, Terry, or what, I don't really give a rat's butt. But anyway, the whole thing is, and this is, you know, I saw a couple of statements that were made on Facebook about, and I'm eating a cinnamon roll because I'm hungry. They made a statement about the chosen few, and I see positive statements about the chosen few picnic. I see negative statements about the chosen few picnic, right? And the thing that burns me up, and I've said this on past shows, when we had Alan King and we had Wayne Williams here on the show, we've had Terry Hunter on the phone. The main people that bitched and complained about the whole situation, none of you all were man or woman enough to call in and tell them what your issues were, okay? The point I'm trying to make to that is they gave you ample opportunity, but because some of you still want to play at that festival, some of you still want to be cool with what you all consider the in cool crowd or popular crowd, whatever term you want to use. I'm not saying that to make that derogatory towards Wayne or anybody else. I'm just saying I don't know how you guys view them from your standpoint. I know how I view them from my personal, but anyway, however you view them, you know, you don't want to burn that bridge with them. You don't want to upset them to the point where they won't put you on, or you may not get a chance, you know, to play on their stage one day. So you're very careful about what you say, because no, I don't have no beef with Alan King. No, I don't have no beef with the chosen few. No, everything was great and gravy, you know. But then the thing that ticks me off is I saw some recent comments about, you know, the chosen few and how nobody's going and nobody's doing this and nobody's doing that. I would say still support the chosen few, because it's something that is a great moniker, a great pinnacle in Chicago that helps to identify Chicago and still gives us our validation in Chicago. I'm trying to do that with the Music Alliance Festival. I'm trying to build that same type of brand. They've been doing this a lot longer than I have. So, of course, they're going to be a lot further along than what we're doing. But at the same time, you know, I hear guys complaining, oh, ain't nobody going to that, nobody doing this, nobody going to the chosen few to do that, nobody's doing this, nobody's doing that. And you same a-holes that say that are the first ones in line with your coolers waiting to get in the gate. You talk about how bad the music sounds, how they're not playing any good music, how you can't hardly hear the music. And then I asked the question, well, how do you know? Oh, I was there. You were there? Yeah. So you spent money to go there to complain about, hey, I'm not mad at the chosen few. Mm-hmm. Hey, come complain in mine and come pay me still, though.
Right? Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, come pay me still, though. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what you're doing. You know, And I said, okay, so you get all of these things going on, right? Oh, I got too much on that. So you get all these things going on, right? I'm just asking everybody, if you mad and you gonna protest the situation, or if you mad and you don't like how a certain thing is going, stand behind what you say. If you don't agree with the prices that the chosen few charges, don't dig in your pocket to pay it. It's just that simple. If you don't like the music that they're playing or the DJs, then don't take your butt to the festival. I don't understand what the problem is. If you are in a disagreement with who they have as a DJ because, oh my God, all the negative comments that I heard about Mickey Calvin playing at the Chosen Few picnic was ridiculous. And some of these, and I'm going to be honest, some of these comments were from people, as they say, that mess with and or are cool with Mickey Calvin, are supposedly or allegedly cool with him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The true haters, the ones that are opposed to. Yeah.
But they're mad because Mickey got a chance to play and they didn't. You know what I'm saying? And all I'm saying, and even if that's not the case and you don't like what they're doing and you don't like the entertainment, this is a free country and you're free to keep your money in your pocket.
Exactly.
You're free not to go. You're free not to support it. You're free to do all of that. And I'm not saying because I haven't been in a while. I'm not saying that maybe their rituals or what they used to do back in the day versus where it is today are totally different. Things have to evolve. Things have to change, and everybody's not willing to evolve and change with the market. You understand what I'm saying? So, some people want to be stuck in a certain time era and have that certain feeling happen for them over and over again. And if they don't experience that, then all of a sudden it's went downhill, it's bad, or it's whatever. There are a lot more affordable festivals and things out there to go to? Yes, there are. There are a lot of free ones, and there's some that honestly can't be free because some of you all don't understand that what the overhead is to do a festival. If I'm doing my festival, people have no idea what it takes for us financially just to put on and do the stuff that we have. It's ridiculous. And if we say, oh man, we need $5 or $10 at the gate, people are like, $5, $10, but you'll pay $50, $60, $70, $100 to go to somebody else's festival. You see what I'm saying? I'm only asking for $10. I'm only asking for $5. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm trying to give you quality entertainment, so at the end of the day, man, we got all of these things going on, and we just need for the bickering and stuff to stop. I'm urging every DJ, every producer in Chicago to stay in their lane, man, and just focus on what you're doing. And I know it's hard because I think some of you guys really need to be hospitalized or put on a medication or talk to a shrink because you will not. You refuse to shut up. You just won't leave it alone. You just keep digging. And then what you do, if you don't dig, straight up, then you do undercover digs at people's stuff, knowing that you're going to spark a fire and all of that. So at the end of the day, man, like Rob said, we have to figure out a way to work together to build that Chicago sound, keep that sound going, and people know that when you go overseas or you go out of state, that you are a Chicago DJ, that you are a Chicago producer. New York has their sound, Miami has theirs, South Africa has theirs, Ghana has theirs. Everybody has a sound, and we're so busy fighting about who put me on and who didn't put me on, who helped me, what whack DJ does this, and he's only whack because he or she don't play the music that I like. Then you got other people mad at the Southeast side because they only want to stay playing, with the old school type of warehouse playground music. So all of a sudden, they don't want to change with the times. And I have come to a point in my old age, as my dad used to say, it is what it is. It's going to be what it's going to be. You're not, either you roll with it or you don't. And if it's irritating a lot of you all that bad, stop DJing, stop producing, or if you don't want to do that, stop doing it in Chicago. Move around. Say, okay, I will disassociate myself with everybody from Chicago. I will disassociate myself with the DJs, festivals, producers, sound, and I will market my music and myself as a DJ in another state or country, and the hell with Chicago. I'm cool with that.
Sometimes you gotta do
Sometimes you gotta do that. Sometimes you gotta do that. When you're not getting no love at home, what do? You either cheat or you leave, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it might be time for you to cheat and leave. It might be time for you to get the heck up.
Smoke? You ain't cheating on me, are you?
Oh, right.
All right, guys. Stick around for more to come right here. At the top of the hour, we're going to get Smoke to throw down and do a mix for you. So, he was clawing. He didn't want to get on there, but you're going to get a mix from right here, the man, as Ron would say, the legend, Derek Smoking Jones.
The myth, the legend.
The man, the myth, the legend. Ain't no myth about it. Yeah, he is who he is.
Let me say this. I might play music that you don't like today. I might train wreck a blend or two today.
Choo-choo.
What else might happen?
You gonna scratch that record?
Yeah, I might scratch something in or backspin something. I might just do.
He might just scratch.
Yeah,
something.
I might just do it all just to irritate the hell out of everybody. So there you go.
All right. Stick around right here for more to come on DaBooth312, broadcasting live from Chicago, WIT 88.9 FM in Chicago, and DaBoothRadio.com.
Oh,